This is America's M1296 Stryker 30mm infantry carrier vehicle. Months of urgent work, the Army rolled out its first upgun Stryker vehicle nicknamed Dragoon. The armored 8-wheel troop transport, built by General Dynamics and normally armed with no more than a .50 caliber machine gun and an unprotected mount, has been rebuilt with an armored turret containing a 30mm Bushmaster cannon. The new weapons are designed to support infantry units on the move in major combat, assist ground formations in armored warfare, identify and destroy ground and air threats from greater standoff ranges, and better enable the Army to succeed if necessary against near-peer adversaries in a massive mechanized major power warfare scenario. That's enough firepower, the Army computes, to dispose of other lightly armored vehicles like the Russian BMP troop carrier. If the Russians invade the Baltics, the Stryker Dragoon can't stop their heavy tanks, but it can thin out their scout vehicles and transports, allowing American M1 tanks to focus their 120mm firepower on the heaviest targets. Currently, the heaviest United States force stationed permanently in Europe is the 2nd Cavalry Regiment, aka the 2nd Dragoons, mounted in Strykers. The other unit is the 173rd Airborne Brigade, a light infantry unit with no armored vehicles at all. Although the Army's Mobile Protected Firepower program is feverishly developing a light tank to support the light infantry. Dragoon is an appropriate term for Stryker forces, more mobile and better protected than foot troops. They're still nowhere near as tough as M1 tank or the M2 Bradley troop carrier. Like the original Dragoons in the black powder and musket days, Stryker units are a hybrid that ride to the battle but then dismount to fight on foot in battle. The XM813 30x173mm caliber chain gun used on the Dragoon is a derivative of the Mark 44 Bushmaster II cannon, a highly capable, reliable, and versatile weapon. Derivatives of the Mark 44 fly on AC-130J gunships and are installed on Littoral combat ships and San Antonio-class amphibious assault ships, not to mention many other weapon system applications around the globe. The XM813 can engage targets out to over 9,000 feet, way farther than the Stryker's standard .50 caliber machine guns, and with much greater impact and lethality. It fires the same ammunition as the A-10 Warthog GAU-8 Avenger cannon, but it can also fire programmable airburst rounds, giving it the ability to take out human targets hiding behind barriers and inside windows and doorways. It can also use this ammunition to work as a short-range air defense battery against low-flying drones and helicopters. The gun has a variable rate of fire of 100 or 200 rounds per minute and has 2 magazines with 78 rounds each, as well as another 264 rounds stored in the Stryker's hull. It's completely unmanned, operated by the Stryker crew inside the hull of the vehicle. Protector is stabilized, allowing Stryker Dragoon to fire accurately while on the move, and is equipped with a thermal camera, day camera, and laser rangefinder. The 30mm cannon is not meant to give the Stryker the ability to take on columns of enemy advanced heavy armor offensively, but it does give Stryker units a far more robust defensive capability against those types of threats. Near-peer threats from the air, such as rockets, missiles, and artillery, are moving to the forefront. A small bullet may not take out a large weapon, but let's knock smaller attacks out of the air with a 30mm round or laser weapon. Let's have multiple countermeasures, a senior Army official told Warrior in an interview. Indirect fire is a big deal. You still have to maneuver and close with the enemy when you're facing adversaries with more capable fires in their quiver. You have to protect the force with your own fires. 3 senior Army weapons, doctrine and tactics developer, explained these Stryker combat upgrades in terms of a wide-ranging technology mashup, including sensors, countermeasures, fire control system, and next-generation ammunition able to destroy a wider range of enemy targets. One analyst who closely tracks emerging technologies, weapons programs, and potential threats to the U.S. military specified aerial attacks as a fast-growing area of great risk to Army ground forces. The most important new threat U.S. combat vehicles will face from overhead on future battlefields is unmanned aerial systems, drones. Their low cost enables an enemy to fill the sky with unmanned systems carrying anti-armor weapons, while their small size and low altitudes would make interception by friendly tactical aircraft very challenging, said Lauren Thompson, Chief Operating Officer, the Lexington Institute, a Washington, D.C.-based think tank. In essence, the Stryker's 30mm cannon could operate as part of a broader, integrated weapon strategy, aligning with commensurate Army efforts to quickly develop and test Stryker-mounted, drone-killing laser weapons and a wide range of potential short-range air defense, or SHORAD, weapon options. The intent of these upgrades is to provide sufficient fire support for infantry and scout soldiers as they dismount in close proximity to the enemy or while mounted, Ashley Givens, spokeswoman for the Army's Program Executive Office Ground Combat Systems. Despite intense initial criticism, Strykers proved successful in Iraq as a highly mobile reserve. Their 20-plus ton 8x8 vehicles could move them more rapidly by road than 35-plus ton tracked Bradleys, consuming less fuel and fewer spare parts in the process. The 2nd Cavalry showed off this same mobility with an epic 1,100-mile Dragoon ride across the threatened states of Eastern Europe. But the Strykers were also heavy enough to endure roadside bomb blasts much better than Humvees. In Iraq, Strykers only needed machine guns because the insurgent enemy had no armored vehicles of its own. The Army had tried installing heavier weapons on Strykers, from a 105 cannon on the Stryker mobile gun system, the weight and recoil were just too much, to a TOW anti-tank missile on the Stryker ATGM, anti-tank guided missile. But these weapons took up so much space and weight that the Strykers carrying them had no room to carry infantry. So only a few were bought to serve as specialized support vehicles. The vast majority of Strykers remained equipped with 12.7mm or smaller guns. As the U.S. military reoriented anxiously to Europe and the heavily armored Russian army, however, 12.7mm looked awfully small. With this Stryker Dragoon and its 30mm cannon, the Army's well on its way to fixing that. With the right air-bursting ammunition, the 30mm weapon might even take out low-flying aircraft. In parallel to defeat Russian drones, the Army's experimenting with a low-powered anti-aircraft laser, also mounted on a Stryker. Once derided by heavy tank hardliners as an under-armored dead end, the Stryker now seems a versatile and vital part of the Army's future. Now, according to Defense News, the Army has decided to equip 3 more Stryker brigades with the Protector turret. The turret will arm Strykers in 3 of the brigades operating the double V-hull version of the vehicle, an improved version that offers greater protection against improvised explosive devices. Stryker Dragoon is an example of the Army quickly addressing an urgent need from the field, developing the new gun and turret, and testing it over a period of about 2.5 years. It's also an example of the service taking existing weapons